Hey, hi, I'm Mona, and this is Chit Chat. I can't believe it. Like, a moment ago, the clouds were in the sky. It was just, now the sky is blue. It's fantastic out there. Like, I was even worried that I was going to have to wash all my stuff in the rain. No, it just cleared up. Like, bam. Like, right on, God. Anyways, I was thinking about stuff in regards to my son, you know. It's kind of warm in here. Hold on. I turn on the heater. Woo. This one, I got a little fan in here. Believe it or not, I have a little tiny fan. That is fantastic. It will blow the nice cool air. You guys might hear it. Sorry about that. Okay, so blow some of this. Whew. I was thinking about my son, and I was feeling very sad. You know, I was praying for him. I was thinking, you know, and you guys might think like, oh yeah, for yourself, not for me, for yourself. Have you ever thought of, like, when it comes to the generations, like, you remember how maybe your parent was and how they did this, kind of like, oh, I've become my mother or something like that, or I've become my father. It's because you're doing everything that each generation does and what you were taught, right? So when I was thinking back about my mom, she married a guy who was a cheater, like a habitual cheater. I was with somebody who was a habitual cheater. My ex-husband, I don't know. He's a strange, weird person, and his whole family is weird. So I don't know how that all came into play. Possibly because my dad's a womanizer, you know. He believes that the women should be in the kitchen and getting pregnant and doing all this, and you know, you don't have no dreams. You just stay here and you do the work that I say. You know, I married a kind of guy like that. When I was in school, I got no help, you know, especially like when I was in nursing school. I didn't get no help. I still had to take care of the family, do the laundry, cook and clean and do all that stuff. He didn't help me. Yet when he was in school, I helped him, you know, have his private time so he could study and all that while I worked and took care of the child. Okay, so he didn't do shit. I supported him for many years while I was in the military, while he was abusing me at the same time while I was in there and while I was pregnant. It's so terrible, the story. It's so terrible, but let's move on from that. So I was trying to look at my mom's life and try to remember things. You know, my mom's family basically cut her out. Like, she didn't even belong. Like, she wasn't part of the family, except for my grandpa. You know, I mean, he always took us away when my mom and her mom were fighting because he didn't want us to see that. And, you know, he was a good man. He used to take us to go get ice cream, me and my brother Larry. His name is Paul Vados. You can Google his name and you will find out who he is. Anyways, he was a good man. You know, he had a lot of trauma in his life. Okay. So I was thinking about that, like, yeah. And then I remember later in life, my mom's sister, she deceived her. And I was thinking, nah, it can't be. And I feel like my sister has deceived. So it's like playing out, like the timeline of my mom's life is playing out in my life, kind of, with some things, not everything. You know, people calling her crazy or no, my mom had a gift. She wasn't crazy. She just didn't know she had that gift. You know, I thought I was going crazy at one time until I figured out I have a gift. I had to look it up. I had to go on the internet. I was like, oh, shoot, is that true? Like, I have a gift. I think I have some sort of spiritual gift. I don't know. You know, I know I'm here to do something. I know I'm here to help people. I don't know exactly how, though. I don't know exactly how, but I know I'm here to do something. And I know it doesn't have anything to do with being mean to people or hurting anyone, or I know it has to do with being kind and being generous and being honest and try to help people if I can, it's that I'm here to do something in regards to that, or maybe help mental health people and motivate them into believing that, you deserve a better life. I try to do that kind of stuff because I'll tell you what, it could also be a lot of these people out here who might have these mental health problems, who might think, they're on dope and they can get the psychosis. And then if they do want to get help, they'll go and get help. And then those people will just give them more drugs and keep them in that psychosis. It's like some of these people have gifts themselves. They have gifts themselves that they don't know what it is and they don't know what to do. So they think they're crazy and everybody calls them crazy. That's a possibility. Okay. So I did notice that. And then I was thinking about my son. I'm really touchy when it comes to children. We need to protect the children. And we need to protect the children from some of these parents. Children are so impressionable. Children can be so manipulated by these parents who bully them into believing certain things with their manipulation. Like I mentioned before, I remember my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, this is my ex-husband's sister and her husband, right? I remember her using like an embarrassment type of tactic, talking smack about their dad once they separated because they wanted the children to take side of her. So what the mother did, and everybody else around laughing about it, like it was okay. I remember her saying, "Oh yeah, he's with black prostitutes," but she used the N-word, right? But saying that over and over again and embarrassing the child, what do you think the child's going to do? That's bullying a child into, not liking the parent, saying anything you can to embarrass that child so they take the other parent's side, so they don't go towards that parent. That's a manipulation. And it's also called adult alienation. I've talked about that before, like a lot of times. And so, yeah. So you got these children making them believe that their mother or their father is such a terrible person, and they do it by embarrassment or, just bullying them. Some parents will even make accusations, and depending on how young the child is, the child will just believe. Children are like blank pieces of paper. Okay, we all are. We come out of the womb as a blank piece of paper. And everything we're exposed to at that time, as we grow, somebody's writing on that piece of paper. That's what's going on. And then by the time, their story is being written for them until they're 18, and then they already have these beliefs in their mind about things that are going on, and that's what it. Some children out there are smart enough to catch this, though. They're smart enough to catch this. And some children are just not. And then they end up, being traumatized for the whole rest of their life. They have mental health issues with themselves and whatnot, right? Parents will bribe their children to not tell. Yeah, they will bribe their children to take their side, to not tell, to do this. They might even threaten them with their inheritance. If you don't do it my way, we will exile you from the family, and whatever the case. Scare tactics towards the children is so terrible. So this is what I was thinking. Like, I'm wondering if my son is in danger because he might see the truth. I don't know. I don't know. It would be nice if he did. I am praying for God to please let my son see the truth. I have been praying that. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But that's what parents do. The bad ones. The manipulating types. Because all my life, I've been groomed to think, ooh, there's a bee. I've been groomed to think that I should be in the house and be in the kitchen, and that also that I'm never going to get married because I'm ugly and fat. Just all these terrible things my parents did. I think that tactic is used in a lot of Latino communities because the parent wants the oldest or the young, I don't know, to take care of them when they're old. Not me. Not if you're going to treat me like trash my whole life. No way I'm not going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of me. But this is how, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that 1122, I just saw that number. So I'm going to look that up later for me because it means something. It means something good for sure. Anyways, this is a tactic that parents use to be against also, like mothers and fathers who are separate, whatever. They call them crazy or dangerous or whatever. And half the time it's because the other spouse was abusive towards that spouse. So they make the child believe, oh, this person was so bad and they're this and they're dangerous. Why? Because that person abused them. That's why. So now the abuse turns on the child. And what are you showing the child? You are showing that child that it's okay to abuse your spouse. It's okay to talk smack about your spouse. It's okay to slander, whatever you're doing. You're teaching that child that it's okay to do that, and it's not. So now, I mean, I worry that my child will not have a normal, loving relationship because of how he was groomed by his father. I was able to take care of my son up until 13 years old. I hope that was enough, but who really knows? Who really knows, if my son has a strong mind and a strong will, he will see the truth. I don't know what they said about me. I can almost positively say that maybe they said I was dangerous and I'm crazy and all this stuff. And these are nurses. And instead of saying that stuff, how about we say stuff like, whoa, something's wrong with mom. Let's find out what's wrong. But did they do that? No. Why? Because they wanted to manipulate the child to be with them. Something was wrong with mom. Mom was abused by dad. But they didn't want to show that. They didn't want to show the child that. They didn't want to bring that thing out. So, you know what I'm saying? And these are nurses. Yeah. And my ex-husband, he's a teacher, teaching at, a school out there. And I remember seeing a picture on his phone because he was showing me a picture of something and I was like, what's that? And he had a picture on his phone of one of his students, a picture under the desk. Why would he do that? Of the student's crotch. Why would he do that? At first I was like, oh yeah, that's funny, I guess. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that was. But that also kind of led me to believe that he's weird. And I stood up for that man. He came to me to judge his character because his cousin was claiming that he did something not right. And he tried to use me as his judge of character because he's like, I'm going to lose my job. So I was like, okay, I guess. Like, I did all this stuff for him. He used me to judge his character. And then later on, I'm crazy. I'm dangerous. Yeah, okay. I'm that way because you abused me. You can abuse a person so much until you do drive them nuts. You do drive them to want to kill themselves. You do drive them to drugs. You know what I'm saying? So, think about that. Think about like your past. If you're going through something and you see a trend in something and you're like, no, I'm not going to do these things. I see it happened to my mom, but I don't agree with that. I'm not going to, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's trends and you can see, and the ones who see those trends are the ones who break those generational curses. That's what they call them, but it's just generational stuff you'll learn from the previous, it's just, I guess it's just an easier way to say it. But yeah, there are people out here who can break that. If you realize, anyways, like I said, it wasn't really churchy or anything, but it's really strange. Check out your own stuff. You will see, like, wait a minute. Wait a darn minute. You know what I mean? You're going to realize stuff. And I realize that there's some stuff playing out in my life that kind of resonates with what happened with my mom. So, I know this is a weird conversation, but I mean, all we can do, if you are suffering from anything, here's the solution to it. If you have mental health problems, do your best to not do drugs or drink alcohol. Try your best on your own to fix yourself. Because if you go to some of these facilities, they're going to try to push more drugs on you. Like that Adderall stuff, that's just legal speed. Don't take it. I never took any pills that they tried to offer me when they put me in the crazy place, right? Because I tried to hurt myself several times. So I had a good visit over there. I had a lot of visits over there. Another thing is they put some of these people in there who are actually criminals, and they're putting them in with the people who want to hurt themselves or hurt others. That's a bad idea. People were afraid of me in there. Why? Because I didn't care about dying. So I was up in everybody's face. I didn't give a shit. So I mean, that's not a good idea to be putting people who are suicidal into those places with some of the general population, because those people will hurt you. Like, I wanted to hurt people when I was in there. Yeah, I was already tripping out in there. People were already triggering me in there. I mean, geez, I'm not like this anymore. It took me a long time to get to this point in my life. So first of all, just try to not do alcohol and drugs. Try to get that stuff out of your system as best you can. It's going to take about a year or even longer for the effects of whatever you've been doing to be absolutely out of you. And it's going to be hard and it's going to take a long time, but you can do it. After that, focus on eating better and exercising. And your body will get better. When you do that, also your mind will get better. You can regenerate the cells in your mind, and you can start to remember things logically. Because when you're on drugs and alcohol, you kind of, it's kind of all a blur, and it's just, but once you clean up your act, you clean yourself up, you start eating healthy, you start exercising, good things will happen, and you will start to remember. And then you'll want to look into things. And then at that point, you will get in touch with, God that's within, God that we pray to, the one that Jesus was talking about, that we should pray to God, because like I said, I believe that Jesus was important and he did have a message. And, he said, be kind and to everyone and treat everybody with respect. It doesn't matter. We're all God's children. You can pray to God. It's okay. So yeah, I 100% believe in God, and I 100% believe that Jesus was trying to relay that message. You can pray to God. Let's pray to God, Thank God for whatever we have here, Anyways, If you can get in touch with that stuff, you're going to see your life change. You're going to see you feeling better, and you're just going to, end up being like, kind of go with the flow, go with the river, The river flows, right? The river flows, and it's headed towards, I can see this eagle keep flying over the trailer. I shit you not. What is it doing? Or I don't know if it's an eagle, you guys. It's some big, huge bird. There's a couple. Look. Are they buzzards? Looking for food? Maybe they're buzzards, or I don't know. I think they are. They're big birds, though. Buzzards. And I don't doubt that there's a bunch of buzzards watching my video. Scavengers. I don't doubt that at all. Anyways. That's all I have that I can think of right now. Plus the video is getting too long and it's hard to upload. But I'm Mona, and this is Chit Chat, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.